Sunshine, blue skies, gotta cry. Feeling supposed to cross since the pain, oh yeah.
Hello, and again, we are at another episode of Pivotal Moments with Liletta. Once again, so many just enjoyable conversations, and today is going to be no different. I am honored, excited, encouraged, inspired by today's guest, Jose Escobar, who, you all know I don't really do the whole bio thing. I'm going to just say a little brief part about Jose. Born in Washington, D.C., lives in Maryland. He is currently the sales director for the Educational Funding Company, founder and CEO of the Entrepreneur's Bookshelf, best-selling program. I mean, so many things. I'm sure, Jose, you're going to get into that more. So without further delay, welcome, Jose, to Pivotal Moments with Liletta.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm honored to be here and always love adding value to anybody or a community, however I can. So just super excited.
Yay! So again, as I mentioned, I happened to meet Jose at another event. A friend of mine, a friend of Pivotal Moments, Dr. Oliver T. Reed. And, just Jose, the things that you're doing with Connected Leaders Academy and just your presence is just amazing. So again, so happy to have you on the show today. But of course, it is about pivotal moments. So what are you going to be sharing with us today about a pivotal moment in your life?
So it's interesting because everything that's happening right now was the direct result of a pivotal moment that happened in my life, right?
Wow.
I think it's a very a powerful topic that you have here, pivotal moments. So for me, it was 2019. 2019 is when I decided to implement a morning routine and an evening routine in my life. And it was like the moment where I said to myself, so 2018 for me, and I don't know if you want me to go into it now or you just want me to kind of state.
Just flow. Yeah, just go ahead on in. Yeah.
So in 2018, I was tired of being average Jose, not average Joe, average Jose, right? I was just kind of like average father, average husband, average income, average health, average everything across the board. And I said, you know what, there's a lot more in me. There's, seeds of greatness within us all. And I knew that I was not tapping into my full potential or who I was, called and destined to be. And I was just kind of like, coasting, and they say when you're coasting, you're roasting, right? You're either going to plateau by default or you're going to start to go downhill. So anything worthwhile is uphill all the way. And we're not here to take up the easy, right? So I realized as I was getting comfortable in life, I wasn't getting ahead. So that was like the first piece. And then I said to my wife, I was like, you know what, starting officially January 1st, 2019 to December 31st, I'm going to commit to a morning routine and an evening routine, which I like to call the bookends of your day. And I'm going to just implement everything I've learned over the last decade, a little over a decade, in that space. Because I'm a huge fan of Robin Sharma, the 5 a.m. Club, Hal Elrod, Morning Miracle, Tony Robbins, all that stuff where they talk about morning routine, evening routine. All of the greats that I've researched, they all have a commonality and they all have disciplines, frameworks, systems where they can milk more in one morning than most people can do in a week. So I said, there is something to this. So that's what I decided to apply for a whole year. So I said to my wife, Katie, I said, listen, I'm going to wake up at 5 a.m. Monday through Friday, no excuses, zero compromise, full out commitment for a whole year. And I'm going to go to bed by 10:30 Monday through Friday, right? Sure enough, in that 1 year from when I implemented that, the pivotal moment hit me, right? And it was a pivotal moment because my life changed in that 1 year. And at the end of the year, I evaluated what I had done in that year. And just by implementing some very basic things like reading, fitness, breath work, prayer, commonplacing, journaling, affirmations, visualization, the list goes on. There's like 10 things I do in the morning, 10 things I do at night. A lot of them speak to each other. And all of a sudden, in that 1 year, I doubled my income. I got a raise at my day job from a standard, position of like coaching to sales director for the U.S. territory. I launched a business from scratch, not knowing how to start, what to do. I just kind of figured it out. So I doubled my income. I lost 36 pounds. I got in the best shape I was in pretty much in a long, long time that I can recall, at least in the last decade at the time. And then I also became a better father, a better husband. And this is not just my opinion, it's what the feedback that I was getting.
Yeah.
And my spiritual life went to an all-time high. I started reading a book a week. I was at about four a year at the time. So I was at a book a week. So mental stimulation was at an all-time high. My emotional state was just like going upwards instead of like a roller coaster ride, right? It was like going up all the way steady. So I was like, wow, like I absolutely, in my 10 life domains, and Michael Hyatt talks about the 10 life domains in his book, Your Best Year Ever, how there's 10 areas of your life that you got to focus on. And they all require time and effort and energy and investments in yourself. But most people only focus on like 2 or 3 areas, maybe 4 if they're lucky,
Yeah.
but they forget about the rest. So for me, that morning and evening routine literally changed my life in 1 year. So I said, this is a pivotal moment. This now shows me what I'm capable of. It shows me a new version of me. It's me tapping into my best self. And now I'm going to take this and I'm going to monetize it. And I'm going to teach other people how to do what I did in a year in 8 weeks and charge for it.
Wow. I mean, that is so amazing. And, the fact that you had this discipline to be able, you had this idea, you had this thought, you made a decision, and you did it. And, I've even talked about in some of my various presentations about how you're always one decision away from changing your life. And that's exactly what you're talking about. And, if you can talk, I'm sure you talk a whole lot more about this when you are, talking about your business and your company. But, for those who are listening or watching this episode, they may be thinking that sounds great, right? I've wanted to do that. I've wanted to put, a morning routine. Was there something more? What made you actually commit this time to doing that? I mean, that was a huge commitment. I mean, are you just ordinarily just a completely just committed type of guy? Or what would you say was kind of that secret thing that just made it like this time I'm able to commit?
Yeah. So I had more kids. So I had more kids meant there's a higher level of responsibility on my end to be at my best, right? So I knew that I needed to be in better shape. I knew I had to tweak my fatherhood and my, my how I show up as a husband, and financially I had to make more money. So I started to realize that the pressure was on. I was like, things need to start, something needs to happen, right?
Yeah.
So that was kind of like the first pressure. Usually people wait until they're backed in a corner to like do something about it, right?
Right.
So I like to, now everything I do is proactive versus reactive, right? I patch the roof before it leaks, right? So that type of thing. So it got to the point where I said to myself, self, something's got to give. You gotta step up to the plate. You're very comfortable, and comfort, doesn't go anywhere good, at least not in the long term. And that's kind of what happened. So I said, you know what? I'm not feeling discomfort. And what I do understand from everything I've been reading and all the mentors and the events that I go to and the books that I was reading, I was like, if you're comfortable, then you're not growing. You have to remain and live in your discomfort zone in order for something to happen. So we can all decide today that we're going to do something, and then we can decide tomorrow we change our minds. The difference lies in your commitment, because commitment is full out. Commitment is all in. Commitment is the pig that dies for us to eat bacon versus the chicken that laid an egg and we can eat eggs, but the chicken's still alive,
Oh,
So,
wow. I love that.
so the chicken was involved in the process. The pig was fully committed, and that's the big difference. So we got to be like that pig. We got to be all in on our commitment. And that's kind of what happened. So I said, you know what, I'm going to commit this time, because I never really committed to certain things like that. It was just kind of like, I'll test it out. I'll see how it goes. I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to try. There is no try. You either do it or you don't. So that is what happened. I had more pressure on me. And I said, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. I'm doing the same old rat race thing. I'm not really growing, but I'm not terrible at anything, but I'm not great at anything. I'm just kind of average. So I
Yes.
said, it's time to be great at some things, and really tap into who I am called to be. And that's it. And so, but I'm an extreme guy. So like when I say I'm an extreme guy, like if I'm all in on something, I'm all in.
Okay.
Like, for example, 75 hard. When I wanted to get in shape, I said, I'm going to do 75 hard. But most people will never even touch 75 hard because it's 2 workouts a day. It's a
Yeah.
gallon of water a day. You got to be on a strict diet, no alcohol, no cheap food. You got to read 10 pages a day, a selfie picture every day. Very intense. And one of your workouts has to be outside. It doesn't matter what the weather is and whatever. So I did that twice and I completed it twice
Wow.
to get in shape. And I always lose a lot of weight and I always do like some great things, but that's extreme. And so my wife is like, why don't you, instead of doing 75 hard and then going 75 soft, why don't you just maintain a certain lifestyle where you just kind of implement this into your daily routine and you just have a basic workout and you just generally eat healthy and you do these things and you don't have to go on extremes, right?
Wow.
So that's kind of the thing. It's a lifestyle piece. So once I understood that, everything changed. So I don't recommend to anybody going from like 9 a.m. to 5 a.m. overnight
Yeah.
because it's not sustainable unless you are that type of person. If you know you're an all in and you can do it because you're just extreme, then
Yeah.
go for it. You can do it. I know I can do it. And I did it and I never looked back. Now my
Mm.
wake time is 4 a.m. So my point is in saying all of this is make a decision first, follow it, back it up with a commitment, and then you need to have a plan. And then you just got to have the discipline to follow through on it consistently enough. And the problem why most people like break their diet or they break their routine or they don't follow through on their New Year's resolution with 3 months in is because their emotional state, their EQ is low. Their
Mm.
emotional quotient. I always say the EQ is high is more important than the IQ. It doesn't matter how smart you are, it matters how much you can handle with your emotional state, right? So the
Mm.
EQ is very, very powerful. So, and there's a powerful quote that goes with this. What I'm trying to say is commitment to continuity establishes emotional stability. So commitment to continuity establishes emotional stability. So if you can just be committed to doing the same thing over and over and over and putting one foot in front of the other, no matter how bad it gets, no matter how much you lose, no matter how sleepy you are, no matter how tired you are, no matter how inconvenienced you are, if you can just keep putting one foot in front of the other, success is inevitable at anything.
Oh my goodness. I know right now I probably have listeners who are rewinding it back to catch exactly all those gems that you just dropped. Wow. That's amazing. I'm taking notes. You may be familiar, but I'm doing a 8-week program on my nonprofit side that's called Freedom to Move. And it's about 10 of us. I like to always keep my programs really kind of small, but it's about 10 women. And it's all about kind of similar to what you're talking about. Like, we want to do these things, right? We want to be financially successful. We want to have healthy relationships. We want to feel good and all that, but there's something blocking that, right? So we can accept that, and I've done this. Well, I'm just not good at finances, right? I've said that. I'm just not good at finances. I don't like systems, but that's acceptance. What if I change it and I say, well, why am I not good at finances? What's at the root? What's at the core? How can I change that? I may not be a superstar at finances, but I can become better, right? And it's kind of exactly what you're talking about, being able to commit to that change, making that decision, committing, and then making a plan. I absolutely love that. And I know I'm gonna make sure that the ladies get listen to this. We might have one of our sessions just on this podcast alone, this episode. That's
Awesome.
powerful. Yeah. So, in the work that you did on yourself and making the changes, was there something that you discovered about yourself that you did not know before? Like you said, you knew you were extreme and you're kind of that kind of guy, but was there something that this pivotal moment experience taught you about yourself?
Yes, it taught me that if I can believe in me and I commit to what I set out to do with some level of follow through, that I can achieve anything I want to achieve. So the idea of like one day I want to be a millionaire to wow, I actually believe I can be a millionaire settled into my being. Because we all like not everybody wants to be a millionaire, but Yeah, and ultimately, money is a means to an end, right? It's really just to live a certain lifestyle and to be able to do certain things. It's not even to create more impact. You know, it requires more money. That's just the bottom line. So for me, saying I want to be a millionaire is not so much the I want to have the Ferrari and I want to have this $1 million home with a casino in the back. You know, no, it's I mean, if I could have that, awesome. But it's really to create greater impact. And by default, my family lives a better lifestyle. I can travel and do whatever the heck I want when I want to do it. I can roll over instead of rolling out. You know, the list goes on and on and on.
Yeah.
But people say all the time, "Oh, I want to be a millionaire. I want to have that $1 million home. I want to have that beautiful car. I want to be able to travel." But the difference between I want versus I believe I can is a big gap. There's a huge gap because that gap is identity. And we are always going to behave in alignment with how we see ourselves. And the reality is you cannot make more money than your self-image allows. So that's a reality that we don't even see happening because we're not going to behave out of alignment with how we see ourselves. So if we see ourselves at 100K, we're going to perform right below 100K level threshold. If we see ourselves at $1 million, all of a sudden our behaviors, our actions, our commitment level, our discipline level starts to rise up to be able to achieve what it is we set out to achieve because our belief is tied to it. So we have to get our belief level to a higher state in order for other people to start believing in you. But the problem is so many of us wait for our spouse or our kids or our family or our parents or our friends or our employer to believe in us first so that we feel like, oh, that's going to help me kind of get to where I need to be at this emotional EQ level, right? Backwards. We have to be our own best cheerleader. We have to believe in ourselves. We have to set the big goals and set the small baby steps, the small, simple steps. I call it triple S, right? Small, simple steps. The atomic habits, which James Clear talks about in an amazing book. We got to set those things in place first, act into what we're trying to be, what we need to be, right? And by default, win after win after win is going to turn into what? It compounds over time, like interest in a bank, right?
Mhm.
Little wins stack and stack and stack. And then all of a sudden you have a business. And then all of a sudden your business just closed its first $1,000 deal. And then all of a sudden you have 100 people in your that are clients. And then all of a sudden you're like, wow, I'm making 50K. I'm making more in my business than I'm in my day job. This is no longer a side hustle. Now it's a legitimate business. And then it's like, now I've transitioned into full-time entrepreneur. Now I'm making six figures or multiple six figures. Now I see the $1 million mark is no longer the peak of the mountain. Now it's like right there, like a one football field away, because the vision all of a sudden changes and your belief level changes. And that's how you grow from one stage to the next. It's all about belief and EQ. That's what it goes back to.
Ooh, oh my goodness, I got goosies. you, yeah, I mean, it takes a lot to get me speechless, and you got me speechless. I mean, so many powerful, powerful points that you just shared right now. You know, I too talk about the belief system and you know, your self relationship, but the way you worded that, you know, I've even been talking lately about this poverty mindset. And really that's kind of what you even touched on, right? Like what do we believe that we're worth? What do we believe we can have? Oh my goodness. Wow. Jose is just dropping gem after gem for us. Oh my goodness. Okay. So as if you just haven't already just lit us up. If somebody was watching this, listening to this, they got nothing else out of this whole discussion, but this one thing that you are going to say now. What is it that you want to say to those who are listening, watching, who are tuned in to this episode, to your words? What is that message you want to say to them?
The message, if there's one thing to walk away with, is the importance of a morning and evening routine. It's that. Like that right there is the game changer. That's what separates the 3%ers from the 97%, is the habits, the disciplines, the systems that they have installed in their life. And that's it. The people that are ultra wealthy and the 3% doing crazy things in the world, living their life however they want to do it on their terms, where everybody has to adhere to them. The difference is not how smart they are. Some of the richest people were dropouts. Bill Gates. I mean, I can tell you all these people that were dropouts didn't even get a college degree, don't even have the certifications. It's not IQ. It goes back to how disciplined are you? What kind of success habits do you have installed in your life? What is your EQ? What is your ability to keep pressing forward even though things aren't manifesting the way you want it to? Like you're not seeing the results. Somebody canceled on you. Somebody asked for a refund. Somebody said no to you, and you were almost pretty sure this was going to be a done deal. The list goes on and on and on. You have an event, and then people decide not to show up, and you say, okay, well, I'm going to cancel, postpone, whatever. And then all of a sudden, it's like game over. No, the EQ has to say, this is part of the process. This is a stepping stone. This is part of the journey. And guess what? I'm not going to fall back here. I'm going to lean in. I'm actually going to double down. I'm going to embrace the journey and become a part with the journey, because the more I love this process, the more I can build the EQ. I build my tolerance level. I build my ability to bounce back and come back swinging and keep getting back up again and again and again. I always say I'm never down. I'm either up or I'm getting up, but I'm never, ever down, right? So when it comes to this situation here, morning routine, evening routine, get one. You don't need a master copy of a morning routine or evening routine. You don't need me to give you my template and say, go do this. You just need to start doing something that's going to move the needle emotionally, spiritually, psychologically, physically, all the E's, right?
Yeah.
Parentally, financially, like all these different E's that are out there, and there's 10 of them that matter the most. You just got to start tapping into the things that are going to affect those things and are going to actually improve you, that are going to make you uncomfortable. They're going to require some effort, some discipline. And I'm telling you, if you can just do that, even if it's 3 things, you start off with 10 minutes in the morning of like body weight exercises, push-ups, sit-ups, and squats. That's it. No gym, no need to go for a run. Push-ups, sit-ups, and squats, body weight stuff in your living room. You read 10 pages of a self-help, business-minded type book, anything that's going to move the needle intellectually. And then you pray for 10 minutes or 5 minutes, whatever it may be, right? Spiritual component, intellectual component, physical component, mind-body connection, because they're interconnected. So if you're stimulating both things, you're both orbs, the body and the mind, right? Because they're connected. You start going forward, right? Because if you're only doing one, you go in circles. If you do both, you start going, you get some traction, right? So if you just do 3 things in the morning, whatever that is, ideally, and what I just said, and then you do 3 other things at night, like now you're going to add in the evening journaling, and you're going to probably add, another thing you can add is affirmations. Say a couple of things to yourself, and then you can do visualization before you go to bed, right? I'm very quickly going to read you a couple of these that I have here myself. So this is part of one. I have like a bunch of stacks of these that I go through at different times. So I say, I am a first-class confident speaker. I am someone of great influence and well-connected. I am a humble person and grateful for all the blessings God pours into my life. I am honest and trustworthy. I am a leader, not a follower. I am a smart saver and a brilliant investor. I am optimistic and always choose to see the good in everything and everyone. I am a magnet for money. I am debt-free with multiple streams of income. I am mentally tough. I am a man of great character, discipline, and virtue. I am followed by many and mentor of thousands of people. I am a winner. I win at everything I do. The list goes on and on and on. So I brainwash myself every single night before I go to bed, and I brainwash myself every single morning when I wake up. And all of these things are interconnected, because now when I show up like nobody else does, because nobody else is, guess what, doing what I'm doing.
Wow. That's you have inspired me. I even though I hesitate to say I am going to do this starting January 1, I'm going to say it. I'm just going to say it. I'm going to do like you did in, 2019, and say January 1, I am going to have a morning and evening routine. And that's all I'm gonna say, right? I'm not gonna, like you said, don't, because I'm not the extreme. People think I'm extreme in like business. Like I do have a lot of hats I wear, but I'm not extreme. Like I like to kind of, I'm not a morning person per se. I kind of just kind of go with the flow, but I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna start in January. I'm gonna have a morning routine and an evening routine, and just like you said, approaching each of those tiers, addressing that. I'm
That's
excited.
awesome. That's
I'm
excellent.
excited, Jose.
That's great.
So before we log, also a couple of things. One, I'm excited to say that for those of you who are listening, watching, if you are in the DMV area, Jose is actually one of the keynote speakers for the second annual Business Crossing Network Conference happening April 22nd. So y'all think y'all got something now. Imagine at the event when he is the keynote speaker. I am excited.
I'm
So
excited
we're
too.
in for a treat with that. But otherwise, because I know we didn't even talk about like all the things you're doing with Connected Leaders Academy. I believe you have a book, at least one book. I know. I think you have another one. Am I correct?
Yeah, if I just gave you like the Reader's Digest version of like the other little things I'm doing, and very simple. Simply put, I have the morning evening routine mastery program. That's my high ticket item that I sell 8 weeks program. By the end of the 8 weeks, people walk out with their own customized morning evening routine, life changing. A lot of people's lives and businesses have changed, myself included. Um, and then I got inspired, so I decided to write the book on the subject. And the book is called Winning the Day, An Entrepreneur's Guide to Morning and Evening Routine Mastery. It actually launches January 6th, and I'm going to launch that. It's going to be available in bookstores everywhere. You can get your pre-ordered copies, signed, personalized copies at winningthedaybook.com. Again, winningthedaybook.com. And then I also have co-authored already 2 anthologies that are international bestsellers. And then I also submitted my chapter for 4 other anthologies that I'll be a part of. So at some point in the next less than 5 months, I'll be a 7-time best-selling author if all goes well. Just like that, which is pretty exciting stuff. I'm also a speaker. I'm Maxwell certified, so I went to John Maxwell's event, did a certification. So a Maxwell certified coach, speaker, author, a trainer, sorry. So I do about 3 or 4 speaking events every month now. I'm enjoying it. I just got into the event space, so I'm hosting my own pop-up events around the country. Ideally, one a month. That's kind of what I'm trying to do. I just wrapped up my second one that sold out. It was amazing. And I also have my own Connected Leaders Academy first annual global summit that's going to happen next year. That's going to be October 13th to the 15th of 2023 in Maryland. We're going to have 1,000 attendees. We're going to have some celebrity keynote speakers, a gala, 5-star dinner, banquet, award ceremony, entertainment on stage. There's going to be a cocktail hour with hors d'oeuvres and networking on Friday night. Very much red carpet, very high end. It's going to be an amazing event, either at the MGM Grand or the Gaylord National Harbor here locally in Maryland. So that's going to be fantastic. And you can check out the website for tickets for that. We have early bird special pricing right now until November 30th, and the prices go up. But it's www.claglobalsummit.com. So claglobalsummit.com. And then lastly is the Connected Leaders Academy, which you're one of our amazing members, which we love very much. And that idea just started this year. February, we launched. And it's a membership program for entrepreneurs. And the whole idea is people join for 5 reasons: to grow personally and professionally, to scale their influence, to move the needle in their business. That means more referrals, more leads, more clients, the bottom line, more money, to develop their skill sets, because we're all working on something, and to grow their network, their circle like never before. So in a very short period of time, 10 months or less, I think at this point, we have expanded to 220 members in 11 countries and 34 states, coast to coast. Stay tuned, because this is going to be a global entity. It's going to be a tribe, a community, a family of some of the highest level entrepreneurs around. And I'm just honored that you're a part of it. I'm honored to share your stage and to be one of your keynotes there in April of next year. So just super excited about everything that's happening. And again, it all goes back to, can I tell you something crazy? Liletta, this all happened. Everything that I'm telling you right now has happened in the last year.
Wow.
In less than a year, I have created 2 multiple 6-figure businesses, and all the books that we're talking about and all the speaking engagements and the over, like at this point, 60 podcasts that I've been on, and the list goes on and on and on. All that's happened in less than a year because in 2019, when I changed my life, right, everything changed. But then I was like stuck in this, like scared to take my next level, right? And the next level was launching the business. It took me 2 years to launch my business from 2019. And even I had another business that got destroyed because of COVID. That's a whole other story. So that's where the business thing came in. I had a social media marketing agency. So the point is that everything changed. But the day I realized and I believed in myself and I committed fully and I implemented these systems in less than a year, Liletta, the game has changed. The game has so changed. And I can see the 7 figures right there. I can see the 7 figures right there. And it's nothing to do with me, everything to do with my behaviors of how I show up.
Wow. Oh my goodness. I, I'm blown away. I mean, I obviously I'm in Connected Leaders Academy. I hear you speak, and I'm still just blown away and in awe. And just thank you for sharing. I will encourage. Of course, everyone knows I have Business Crossing Network, but I will say Connected Leaders Academy is next level. And I always share with people, Business Crossing Network, the membership group that I have, is meant to supplement other groups and things that you're a part of. And trust me, I have met some amazing connections. I'm partnering with a woman who is in Africa, but we will be doing some connection for our nonprofit work in the community. I mean, it's that level. I mean, it's just that kind of level. So it is amazing. I thank you for just what you have created. I will be ordering that book. And looking into even the program, because I think that's another piece too, right? Sometimes it's also recognizing that you might need help, right? You might need that extra piece that actually helps you kind of get to that next level. Yep. So again, if you are struggling with getting a morning and evening routine, and you're really serious about having the kind of results that Jose has talked about, look into the program. Of course, I'm going to have all your links in the show notes and everything. So I encourage you, click those links, see what's going on, come to the events, come to, of course, BCN event, go to the October event. I can't wait. I know that's going to be amazing. I could just go on and on, but I'm going to stop there. But I really appreciate you so much. Really, you just bring a lot of value to the community, and the words you shared today are just game changing.
Well, it's a mutual respect. I respect you highly. I think you're an amazing leader, entrepreneur, a winner. And I like to be around those type of people. And when you told me about the opportunity at your event, I was like, I am there. I don't care what's happening. I'm going to be there. Because I met you at Dr. Reed's Milk Writing Academy event. Yes. And that was amazing. And I just felt your heart. You spoke on stage. You over-delivered. So I was like, that is somebody I want to have in my circle. I want to be in their circle. And now we are in each other's ecosystems, which is great. Yes. So let's continue to rise together.
I love it. Thank you so much. Well, once again, this has been another amazing conversation. I'm excited. Thank you, Jose, for stopping by. Enjoyed the conversation. And of course, to all of you that continue to support Pivotal Moments, appreciate you. Continue to subscribe, share, like, review, follow, all that good stuff. And we will sign off and see you next time on Pivotal Moments with Liletta.